Meet Tamid, a 25-year-old entrepreneur from Toronto. Before working with us at Elite Email, he was a freelance copywriter struggling to get clients. And after joining Elite Email and getting our help, Tamid signed his first couple of clients in the following months and is now making $10,000 a month with his email business while working as a full-time security guard. It's an amazing story of commitment and persistence, and in this video, we talk about his journey, how he was able to do this while working as a full-time security guard, and also what he did to generate leads and sign clients. An amazing video indeed, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome back to another video on my channel, everybody, and today's video is a bit different as I do have someone with me here. Today's video, I wanted to bring on Tamid, who joined Elite Email in February this year, and just wanted to talk about his journey. You know, you worked as a security guard full time,
right?
And you know, now you were doing email marketing, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I know you wanted to share what you were doing before, and before you even got started this year, like all the other things that you tried, and you were about to share your story. So go ahead, for the people that don't know you, introduce yourself and just talk about your story, man.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Tamid. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada, which is the same place Splash is based out of. And yeah, just before I got into Elite Email and got into his program, I was sort of trying to figure out and make a way for myself as a freelance copywriter, so to speak. So while I was working full time, my security job, and even before that, on the side, I was learning copywriting as well. So when I joined into his program, I had that sort of a background coming in, but I never got myself going off the ground. And the main reason I joined his program is because I never really had that direct feedback on, someone looking after what I'm currently doing, and, just getting that guidance from people in his organization. And coming to, he had his weekly calls, which I attended every single week, and I just wanted to pick his staff's brain and sort of translate it to what I can do and how I can succeed. And just starting off with that in itself, like, how much do you think did that factor into my success coming into your program?
I think one of the things that stood out with you is that you show up to every calls. Even if it's like, I choose a last minute call the hour before, it's usually just you and Pukar on the call, And that says a lot. And even when I'm talk to any of my team members, Sham, Jasper, Justin, they say that you show up to every call. And I think that says a lot, because there were a lot of people that joined the same time as you, but a lot of them don't even do emails now, right? Because they quit. You were on every call, so you can tell me who was on every call, and like, people are not really consistent, or even the community, no one really wants to, people are asking me questions on the side, but they're not like trying to engage in discussions. Versus you're sharing resources, you're giving things away. Like I think that's one of the biggest reasons for, why, of course, not taking away from the work that you've done and all the skills that you've built up, but a huge part of it is that you definitely took advantage of the community that we have, right? You made sure that if you were doing outbound, you got the feedback of the people that were crushing it with outbound in our community, or my team member that do our acquisition, right? Or I remember when you signed a client, or you were, I think it was you or Pukar. I remember, you were able to talk to Justin and say, hey, how do I fulfill this, right? So
exactly,
yeah, that's it. It's really dope to see, and I think that says a lot about your dedication and why you are where you are. But when you were doing freelance copywriting, right? Why did you struggle, man? Outside of the guidance part of thing, like what else was the reason you weren't able to get clients?
Well, the whole foundation of, why I even joined in the first place is the mastermind principle, which is why when I came in here, I noticed that you had the Think and Grow Rich hardcover. And I was just going through that chapter again and reminding myself why this principle of a mastermind is super important when it comes to achieving the success you want to go after, right? So really that was just it. Like I knew in the back of my mind that I could, do whatever I set myself to achieve, right? But the one thing that was missing was the mastermind sort of thing, right? And this is the sort of thing that's, when people do come into your program, and, you see a lot of them come in, and you see a couple of them succeeding like 3-6 months down the line. The whole thing comes down to the mindset. And the irony is that's the part that most people skip. Right. So if you want to just go into that and talk about why mindset itself, even though it's sort of I want to say underrated.
Let's start with you. Why was mindset important to you in your journey?
I mean, that's where it all starts, right? I mean, if we're talking about the natural laws of the universe, when you focus on mindset, everything just happens naturally, so to speak.
So
right?
What were you doing to elevate your mindset and change your mindset from the old you to the the you that is succeeding with your...
Well, the first thing is, every day, I would listen to audio tracks and read books. But the main thing that I took from your mindset course is that you've done it all yourself, and I just try to apply those principles into my practice and apply those going through the program, right? So
and when you first joined in and getting your first client, what was that process like, and I guess some of the struggles as well?
Yeah, for sure. So in the beginning, and this I want to go back 8 months before that, because I tried to build everything from zero. But the thing is, like, by not having a job, you don't have the resources to invest in like tools or even like coaches and courses,
of course,
like you guys. So like I remember one day I was just building a list of 50 names, and the whole thing took 5 hours to get a full list of 50 stores that I can go after, right?
Because you did it manually?
Because I did it manually.
Damn, okay.
Right. Sure. So like once I got the tools and I was figuring out the tools I would need to, do my own outreach and be able to do it in such a way where I'd be able to do way more than I did when I was trying to do it from zero. And I think that's another mistake a lot of people do, is they try to do everything manually and from zero instead of leveraging the tools out there to sort of speed up the entire process.
Especially now with AI, I feel like there's so many tools that can, speed up so many things that we had to do manually before, right? So it's just a matter of just research. Talk about, your, again, the first client. What was the experience like for them? Like, when you signed them on, like, were you able to fulfill properly? Did you have some, issues with your systems or like getting the results? What was that?
Well, yeah, for sure. So my first client was actually based out of Toronto. The funny story, I actually ended up cold emailing them, and I found out that they were just buying downtown. So I just dropped by.
So you drove there?
Well, I didn't drive there. I busted.
Okay, right. You got there in person, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I got there in person. I met the guy. He literally showed me his account on his laptop. I did the audit right there, then and there. I'm like, hey, it seems like I can help you out. There's a lot of things I can do for you. Why don't we just do this on a performance-based deal and get you going? So I got my foot in the door that way. And now, using everything I used from your course, even though it was enough to get started, there's still a lot of nuances that you have to figure out on the way, right?
Yeah.
You can't learn everything
literally
beforehand.
Everyone is so unique to themselves, to their like goals, whatever the type of business they want to run, type of people that they want to work with, that the only thing they can take from courses and coaching is like the framework and apply it to themselves and whatever it would look like, if it's custom, right? So yeah, like I really like that you did that. A quick question, I think this would be perfect because a lot of people that want to start off, like they're either in school or they're working a job, right?
Yeah.
And you are able to do that, like, because I remember certain calls, you were in your security guard uniform, show up to our calls.
Yeah.
So like, how were you able to do that? How did you, like, because a lot of people, a lot of times that's their excuse, where they're like, oh, I can't do this because I have a job or a school, but you were still doing it while you had this. So what would you say about that?
Well, you have to deal with the circumstances that you dealt with, right? So for your calls, like I had to work around my lunch hours, around you guys, just so I can come in and then put my own intake, ask some questions, so I can take it forward over the next week,
right,
and apply it, right? Another thing that helped is I did pick security. And the thing with that is there's a lot of free time on your hands, but I know some guys don't really have that luxury, so to speak. So you're just gonna have to put in the extra work after hours, right? And that's what I had to do as well, because at some days at security, I didn't necessarily have to I didn't necessarily have time to do it all on the job, because you still got to do the job, right?
Right.
I would have to put in extra hours during evenings, weekends, to fulfill any time that I missed during the week, right? I know your mentor, Brandon Carter, he mentioned that he worked
many jobs.
Yeah, many jobs. 80-hour work weeks, right? I mean, especially if you're a man in your young 20s, like he said, you really don't have any excuse, especially if, you got 2 legs to walk on, you got 2 arms, you're in a perfectly functional body, right? So there's really no excuse. And actually, now that I remember, like when I first joined your program, I had to work 60-hour work weeks just to keep myself financially stable, right? So, and it reminds me of, I was working security, and I was working cold check during the weekends as well.
No way.
So,
I didn't know at all.
Yeah, for sure. So, and that was actually by the international center that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So I was working cold check over there to, not only keep myself stable, but also start to invest in some tools that would help me, reach out to the business owners that I would like to pursue. So,
for sure, man. And you're right, bro. Because even when I started, I mean, I had school and I had a job, so like I just used all the time in my free time that I have to just try to learn. It doesn't have to be like intensity 8-hour workday, but like you're just doing whatever you can. And even if you have the luxury at a job where you can find time to get whatever you want done, that really does help a lot. Your success, like, you've had a pretty good success for a short period of time, right? When you look at it objectively in real world, right? Because starting from zero, most people who graduate universities have 6 figures in debt and they don't even get a job, which pays what you got paid writing emails for a couple of brands, right? And I think something that you did what was very interesting, that route that you took, which I recommend, which is you niched out, right, to food and bev.
Yeah.
So what made you decide that? And then also, like, what did you have to do to reach your record months where you had your record months?
Yeah, for sure. So the thing that I noticed is that when I did niche down to the food and bev area, it allowed me to stand out in the marketplace, meaning, I'm not just another agency that focuses on, e-com brands. I'm the agency now that focuses on food and bev brands. Right. So that I figured that was a way to sort of differentiate myself in the marketplace when I'm sort of doing my own outreach, right? Now there's different sort of nuances in the sub niches itself, right? Like, for example, I know in the, like, if you're serving the food and bev niche and, the fitness niche and the clothing and apparel niche, each and every single one of those sub niches has its own nuances, right? So when you are presenting your case towards these brand owners for these different sub niches, you can sort of speak their language.
Right. You can be so much more custom and speak their language.
Right.
And then your record month, outside of like just your structure and all, like the lead gen, man, how were you able to close these clients? Because I mean, that's everyone's question, right? How do you sign clients? So what was your lead gen that led you to your record month?
Oh man, so at the very beginning, I was doing cold emails, but as everyone knows, that stuff takes a while to get going, and with the whole warm-up system and what have you, scraping and what have you. So what I was doing on the side was I was actually picking up the phone and dialing.
Straight cold calling.
Yeah, straight line cold calling. And that's something a lot of people can't do because, it takes a lot of courage to, call a stranger and then, ask for the time. Right. And then, my actual big retainer came on the cold call itself.
No way.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. Wow.
I mean, that might be the phone call of my life right there. Because, that just completely changed the game. Because I had that performance deal and I had that big retainer. And when that invoice got paid, man, I was jumping around celebrating.
Yeah, bro.
Like Kobe won his, 5th championship, brother.
Right.
you have no idea. And now when I get a deal, I just just like, whatever.
Right. But the first one, it's special. Yeah, I remember I used to play this Diddy video where he's like, yo, I'm a champion or something. I forgot. But he's a Diddy video where he just gets hyped. I used to play that whenever I close a deal in the past as well. So that's really funny. That's so crazy, cold calling. And I mean, that says everything, right? You are willing to do something for things that people are not willing to do. I know many people right now still not willing to go and cold call if they have no clients, right? That says a lot about your work ethic and dedication. Now let's talk about the fulfillment side, right? So when you started, it was just you. I'm assuming you signed one client, it might just be still you, but now that you have more clients, you now need help. Otherwise, you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
Be the marketing director, the customer service client, acquisition, retention. You can't do all this. So what steps did you take to make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself, and also you're, like you have some structure in your business?
Yeah, well, first of all, and like I said in the beginning, I had a background coming in through copywriting, right? But when I came into your space, the email marketing space, a lot of skill that I had to learn was designing. And designing is one of those things that takes up a lot of time. It's relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but you could learn your way through it. But thing is, it takes a lot of time. And it's something that I didn't necessarily not enjoy, but didn't want to do long term, right? So that's the first thing that I wanted to outsource, or that I want to outsource going forward. So to anyone watching, like if you're looking for ways to outsource your work for your agency, do the thing that you love to do the most. You're comfortable with doing the most, and outsource the thing that you don't necessarily like doing. You're okay at it, but you rather have someone else do it, because it just especially with design, man, it just takes up the most time, right?
It speeds up things for you, right? Now, I'm also just, I think another thing that many people don't talk about is like your mental state as well. Like if you're just designing emails all day, you're gonna hate what you're doing. Straight up, and you don't want to go sign more clients. You don't want to do the work. Like, so it's good that you said that outside of the skill level of like, these people might be better than you. Is that, hey, they did something for you that first of all you might not be the best at, but also cause you discrepancy as you try to do the work, because it's not something that you're good at or you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not your strength. And that's a really, really good advice, is to outsource first the things that you don't want to, like, that you don't need to get done, but is not your strength, So for me, that was like, okay, I hate designing emails. Or like, same with me. Actually, I hated the creation of the email. So I remember that was the first thing I had to outsource, because I'm like, I'm going to focus on sales and making content and strategies. I still love strategizing, but I hated the actual designing the email, scheduling it. Well, I hated that part. So no, it's a really, really good advice. And now moving forward, man, like, what are some, things that you're doing to grow your business? Because, man, it hasn't even been a full year and you're pretty much making a six-figure salary, which is pretty crazy to think about in this short period of time, just writing emails. So what are the next steps you're going to take to make sure that you're going to grow, but also to sustain the growth that you're going to be achieving?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, man, the number one thing is, always have that learning mindset and always be expanding your skill set. Especially now with AI, there's a lot more you can do. Compared to even a year ago, where, it wasn't necessarily like everything wasn't so be able to streamline, right?
Yeah, we just had ChatGPT. Now you can do whatever. It's crazy.
Exactly. And yeah, just expanding my skill set, even expanding my market now to the local business area, because I noticed that and this is a crazy story. I was in the sales call with a dental clinic, and I was speaking with them, and they told me that they're running ads and they're just manually exporting the spreadsheet from the lead form, printing it out, and then manually texting each of those leads. Right, and then I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Right. So now, like a light bulb just flashed in my mind. Like, these people need help.
Yeah, no doubt.
These people need help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I feel morally obligated to serve these guys.
Because your service is going to help them, because what they're doing right now is costing them a lot of money and time. Which is crazy to think about. But again, man, I'm very, very proud of you, man. I'm so I've met Tamid multiple times now. Any event that I go to, I always make sure to invite him, and he's always showing up. Always learning, and it's so crazy to see. Right, started in February, was a full-time security guard. I remember again the calls. He wears black and yellow uniform to show up to the calls, and just always came to the calls with very, very advanced questions. Questions that were well thought out, right? Where I think as consultants sometimes we were just like so quick, like, we want to help everyone out, but it does get annoying when people ask basic questions, right? Versus you had more situational questions where it's like, hey, X happened, what is Y? We're like, hey, X happened and Y happened. What should I do, right? And I think that made it easier for us, because we want to help with specific things like that, right? Instead of saying, oh, how do I design a flow? Like, no one wants to answer these questions. So I think outside of just you showing up, you showed up prepared, and you showed up with questions and information that you know would benefit you, you know, like you took advantage, bro. You squeezed as much as you can out of our help, you know. And I think a lot of people need to do what you're doing, which is taking advantage of us. Pause. Right? It's like taking advantage of us and all the help and support that we provide to our community, right? So, yeah, again, thank you again. So proud of you.
Yeah.
Just to start, man, and I'm excited to see, you know, where your journey goes as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, for sure. And just before we wrap up too, I just want to ask you a few questions.
For sure.
You know, we were talking about a short amount period of time. Like, a lot of people think that's just a couple weeks, right? When in reality, it's a few months minimum. And now it could be even.
But even the few months is just we kind of shortened it down to when you joined, you know, when you started working with us. But like even before that, you were still acquiring skills. You're still learning.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like, it was like, you know, like you came to us not just like, oh, zero scratch, I don't know anything. It's like you've been trying things. You had certain skills, and what we just helped you with was just elevate that, you know? So yeah, like, yes, we say short period of time, but shit, man, who knows how long you've been trying to just, you know, make money online and try different business models.
Exactly. And, you know, that's one of the things biggest struggle with is they underestimate the amount of time it actually takes to see
100%,
success, right?
100%.
And the other thing too is, you know, there's a lot of indecision and like a lot of lack of persistence. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Indecision meaning, you know, how many times you get asked questions asking, you know, hey, should I do this or
should I cold email or should I DM?
Like, bro, try both. Try both, and then let us know how it went.
Indeed.
Right. Or like you said with the basic question, like these are questions that you can easily YouTube. You can easily
chat GPT now.
You can easily you know, prompt it up in chat GPT, and then, you know, at the first sign of, you know, adversity or challenges,
people
quit. Fold.
Yeah. No, there's people that started the same time as you that I don't see. You know, that when I asked them what are you doing now, they're like, oh yeah, I'm thinking of getting back into emails. It's because they just quit, you know, because they didn't see success short term. You're right.
Yeah, and I think the whole persistence thing comes down to, you know, faith in yourself, and again, back to that whole mindset thing. So
mindset very important for sure, man. Without the right mindset, people just quit.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, thank you so much, guys. I'm gonna put his socials down below. Please do go ahead and follow him.
Yep.
If you are in any of our communities, he's always present and active as well. So, you know, you can always interact with him, ask him questions. But thank you again for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.